Hello and welcome back to the Real Estate Unlimited podcast. My name is Sierra Steinmetz.
Brian Schuby.
Kari Steele.
Bill Jones.
And we're the Jones home team.
And this is episode 83, and this episode's coming out at the end of April, almost coming into May. I guess, I don't know when. Good time to sell a house, buy a house, is we're right in that time frame. So, Kari, today we've got what buyers and sellers are thinking, I believe. Sierra's getting into some of the priciest homes that sold, I think, all over the country in March. One from Ohio, so you have to stick around for that. Shuby, what is a FICO change?
Yep,
or
update with the change. I know we've talked about it before, but now there's actually been some new changes here. So
hopefully it'll make it, hopefully not more expensive, because I think it's gotten pretty pricey then for what that is. And I did a presentation yesterday talking about the, I guess, waiting versus buying. Everybody's waiting for the 2008 crash again and rates to get back down to 1.5%. I don't think it's happening anytime soon, but kind of give an idea of what it looks like if you bought today versus waiting for 3 or 4 years, hypothetical scenario. So PowerPoint presentation, I won't make it 2 hours long. We'll keep it short. So, all right. I'll try not to screw up our buttons here again. So where are we at? There we go.
Perfect. Okay. Today I've got a Homes.com article. They looked at the priciest home sales in March all over the U.S. In major U.S. cities. And like Bill said, Cleveland made the list, which is pretty cool. The biggest metro of all of them was actually Miami. The top 5 highest price sales were above every other metro, which is insane. You can kind of see
170 million?
Yeah. So that's, I mean, even if you combine some of those together, they're still not hitting that. So they kind of talked about in the article, like Miami's the place to go if you've got a high budget and you're looking for quality and whatnot.
A severely high budget.
Yeah.
Like, is that the price of the home or combined sales? Like, is this the?
I think that was like the sale
see if we can
point.
pull it up here.
The highest priced sale of like just one house that sold for the highest.
Because this was Mark Zuckerberg.
That makes sense.
For 170 mil.
Ooh.
And I'm pretty sure it's not built yet. I think that they were saying it was like the lot and then the purchase of like it being
so
built.
It's just a rendering of what it would be?
Right. Or it's in the process or something like that.
like the construction loan maybe or something
yes.
like that.
So just a massive, and then that was another one that was in Miami.
Only 32 million.
Right,
what a shack.
Chump change.
Dear Lord.
But yeah, so that was Mark Zuckerberg's latest real estate purchase there. And yeah, 4 times higher than the next highest paid in a month. So
let's go back to what that was. So that was a Cleveland house then. So this was what? Which actually looks like a very nice house.
It's gorgeous.
It was like 5.4 million.
Like, if I'm thinking to take a house, I'm probably going to go Miami oceanfront or Gulf front probably, but I don't have $173 million.
Especially Cleveland. And
I wish it gave some interiors. I'd love to see what the inside looked like.
I'm sure they keep all of that under wraps too, especially depending on the buyer. But
Google the address.
Yeah, it's right there.
Oh, Bay Village.
It says there was a seller's agent, so I would assume it would have been listed, right?
Right.
Yeah. It's being dumb.
So yeah, but yeah, just wanted to touch on that. Single family homes took up most of the top sales, so not developmental or investment properties and whatnot. These are actual homes that people, I mean, it could be an investment home that someone is planning to rent out or whatever, but mostly single family homes is what they were looking at. And yeah, they've got all the big metros listed on there, so you can kind of go through, which is cool.
So what's that buy? So for 47 million in LA?
I would have to have all the fun stuff. You know, if I were going to put that money into it, we'd have go-kart tracks and like a place to like race dirt bikes and car collections and the whole thing.
That's just outrageous. You can have it 47. Yeah, they might take 48 million. You give them a cool $1 million profit, they might walk from it then too.
I'll write the check.
See, like that's the kind of stuff then too. I'd be like, yeah, kids, I'm gonna go build you a basketball court, take out a 8th mortgage to pay for it, and then
they use it 3 times.
They'd never even touch it. Like
it's like Kim Kardashian in the one episode of Kardashians was like, I don't think I've ever used our pool, and it's like a massive, like Olympic sized pool,
super pool. Yeah,
and they've lived there for years. Just crazy. Not shitting on the Kardashians.
I guess if you get that kind of money.
That last photo, the very first photo that you had with the rock formation and the waterfall, I feel like I could live in a tiny house and just have that be my backyard. I wouldn't need all the extra stuff. Just the atmosphere. Pool, the pool, the heat, and then just
get me a shed from Lowe's. I'll sleep in that and then just hang out at the pool then. So.
Sorry, Bobby.
So that is just I mean, I was figuring that would be like here, not like all the way over here. That's nuts.
Yeah,
so.
The jump is
insane.
Got
Zuckerberg money.
Okay.
And yeah, all the way down to 4.3, and I think that was in Charlotte.
So they must release this every month then, maybe? I didn't know they kind of did.
I don't know if this was just a specialty article they did or what, but yeah, it was cool because you could go through and see all the purchases.
I'm surprised Texas isn't on there, like Austin or something.
Yeah.
See, like I would not pay that much for that house there.
Yeah, and Vegas is weird too because it's very like I feel like that's a lot of what the architecture looks like. It's kind of almost futuristic. And like if you've ever looked at Vegas on a map, like it's literally just one big square and then there's nothing. And it's just desert around it.
Just desert
all
around, yeah.
I feel like it's kind of a simulation sometimes.
No, I'd pass on that. It is funny to see like how different like our homes, we got a lot of older, character and things like that. But if something like this were here, you'd be like, what are these weirdos? I guess we do have a couple strange houses like that, but not very many.
Right.
So, especially not for $13 million.
Very specific taste.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. All right. Well, we'll see if we can get something from Tiffin on this list.
Yeah, there we go.
You can buy half of Tiffin.
Exactly.
And make the list then. So.
Yeah. Wouldn't you want to buy like a whole town, Schitt's Creek or something?
I don't even know if you sold every house in Tiffin if it would at 170.
If it's going to be that much, then yeah. Right. All right. Who we want to jump to next?
I'll go.
All right.
So what buyers and sellers are thinking or what they want to know. So I'm obviously not going to give the answers to this because you need to work with a real estate agent. Like this buyers and sellers want insider information, but they need to work with an agent that knows the area, and so
why not just ask questions for free, Kari?
You can. And
do we have to do that again? The guy that just how many times do people what do you say? I just want some advice.
That was my phone call last night. They're like, well, can't you just show me houses and I don't want to work with an agent? I'm like, no, I'm not going to drive around and show you
I'm
houses.
not a chauffeur.
Literally at $4 a gallon gas, I'm not going to just go around and show you houses. When you tell me, number one, you're not the client, you're calling for somebody else who's not even in the country. And then number two, that you just want me to drive around and show you literally just a snoop.
Like
you're
just,
you're
like
the
just
parents. You just want to find a house for the kids. And it's like the kids need to call first off. And if they don't want to work with an agent, back off and let them do their house hunting. Like stop helicopter there.
But yeah, you're not. Well,
also me,
that's a whole other topic.
Yes.
But like how many people think we're just, I guess, tour guides, you think you're getting paid just to show houses.
I don't think they understand that we don't get paid.
Right.
I feel like they think we have like this hourly wage or some like bottom dollar stipend or something that we get monthly regardless if we make a sale. It's like, no, it's we start at zero every month.
Yeah.
And we
every
earn
day
that business.
You start at there.
Or every day. And we start at zero. And if we don't make a sale, we don't get paid. So we're doing all of that work,
right?
Whether or not we get paid.
Right.
And so, what do buyers want to know? So these are some things that an agent can, not necessarily will or can help with, but that will help guide you at least with the right resources. If they can't answer it, then they can find somebody who does. And this is across the board. These are the most common things that buyers and sellers want to know, and especially right now. So number one, focusing on buyers is what can I actually afford right now? And that's where I would say, get with your lender. Work with an agent, get with a lender that's going to be reputable and help you, and they'll be able to tell you what you can comfortably afford, because only they can tell us we want a $300,000 house. Can they afford it? I don't know. It's not up to us to know whether or not they can afford it.
I don't know your credit. I don't know what you're actually making. Yeah.
But just helping advise them on not having buyer's remorse, not biting off more than they can chew, and getting them into something comfortable that they feel like that they can kind of grow with until they do need to sell. Monthly payment examples, same thing. One question buyers have: how do I compete and not overpay? Get a realtor.
Right.
Yeah.
Get an agent.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
So you can do FSBO all day long.
Is that the answer to all these questions? Get an agent.
Yes.
Much, yeah.
I'm going to say it, and then you guys are going to say, get an agent.
That, yes.
What's the process really like? So, what do I do? They'll call and they'll be like, oh, I'm buying this house. Is there any way you could just help me with like the transaction, or can you help me with the coordination, or can you help me with the closing? No.
Yeah. Who do I use for a home inspector? Who do I use for an appraiser? Who do I use for that's what you're paying us for. So
I can't help you. Local market truth. You can do your own research all day long, but the agents are going to know up to date. I mean, we know the morning of if things have changed over the weekend, over the past week, over the last month.
And have actually been in most of the houses and things like that. Yeah. Does it smell like cat pee? Does it whatever? Yeah. Does it need renovated? That's stuff that you can't see on a Zillow or Realtor.com picture.
100%. And then the same can say for sellers. So the sellers, they always want to know, what should I sell my house for?
Yeah.
Well,
what's the value of my house? What's the price?
You can do the research, or you can hire an agent. Yeah. But we're not going to come out and spend a half a day in your home, meeting your kids, learning your pet's name, doing all the back research, getting all of our paperwork ready. I mean, you're talking 3 days of preparation to come out and tell them what their house is worth.
Right.
They get that number and then you never hear from them again.
Yep. Right.
So it's like, we're not dumb. We're not trying to work for free either.
Yeah, your
we know
doctor's
our
not going to
value.
diagnose you and everything else like that just over the phone for nothing.
That's what urgent care's for.
Right. Even then, you're paying them something.
It might, you're paying a reduced rate, but you might not even get the right answer. You might just get a temporary answer. So,
they gave me penicillin. Well, I'm allergic to that, but they gave me something, I guess. So,
how do I sell faster for more money? What mistakes cost sellers money? And then timing questions. So honestly, at the end of the day, I think there's an emotional side of real estate that an agent can help withdraw from. You're trying to make these educated choices, and when it's just you or you and your spouse or you and your kids or you by yourself, you're emotionally torn between this wish price on what you think you can either buy the house for and get it for or sell for. And a lot of times the difference is pretty significant.
Oh yeah.
$10, $20, $30, $50,000 off. And so by having an agent that could sit down and look you bold-faced in the eyes and be like, you're crazy, this is the number that's in. Even for me, because I remember when I was selling and we were working with a couple agents, it's like, this is what we think we can get for it, but in reality, this is what the offers actually came in. And so having an agent that can help navigate through those emotionless kind of, this is the facts. It has nothing to do with, grandma's curtains hanging in the front room. It has nothing to do with how much blood, sweat, and tears you put into the renovations.
How long they've lived there. Yeah.
That's right. Yep. Oh, my kid swung on the tire swing. Like, that's cool. But
the buyer's not buying that. They're not buying your memories.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So taking the emotion out of it. So bottom line, buyers and sellers kind of all want to know the same thing, and you can get a lot of market research online by just spending hours doing your due diligence online. But at the end of the day, knowing the local market is working with a local agent, somebody that's in your area, that's in your corner, that knows what's developing currently, because the difference between last month and this month could cost you $20,000.
Yeah.
So just
or more.
Yeah. And so just more. And so just working with a local agent that can bring you local knowledge is kind of my message today. And mostly because I'm fired up from that phone call last night of like, hey, show me houses for free and bring your value, but I don't want to pay you. And it's like, I'm sorry, we just don't work for free.
That's all I have people. I'll Google that. Yeah, I'll Google. I'll look it up. I mean, I can Google how to do heart surgery too. I can probably find a YouTube video that'll walk you through that. But other than on Brian, I'm probably not going to try it on anybody. Just I screw up one step and then the video doesn't work anymore.
Listen, based on my window quote for getting a new window in my bathroom, I'm like, maybe I should learn how to do windows real quick. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to properly be able to seal it or level it or wrap
compared
it.
to the guy that's been installing windows for 20 or 30 years and that knows all the tips and tricks and what to do. And so
yes, you can.
It is possible to do anything basically, but is it at some point best to hire
you're
expert,
paying for the knowledge.
Somebody that's knowledgeable about the thing.
It's like having someone do your taxes. I mean, that's a service that you pay for. Yeah, anyone can figure out online how to do their taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Are
you
going to do
figure
it right?
out? You can kind of do it.
Can you figure it out? Do you have the loopholes? Do you know the laws?
And you would never go to an accountant and say, can you do my taxes for free?
I just need some advice. Let's just sit down and go through this. Can I sit down for a couple hours and pick your brain about?
Or your mechanic. You pull up to a mechanic and you say, there's something wrong with my car. And besides them just hooking it up to a battery or a machine and saying these are the diagnostics, they're not going to run the diagnostic,
put it up on the lift and take it apart.
They might do the diagnostic for free, which is our initial phone call, but from there you're paying to get your car fixed. And it's the same with real estate. So, and
even half the time they don't even do the diagnostics for free.
Right. Yeah. I know. Service call. That's why I feel like real estate agents, we should be owed a service call. Like if we got $150 every time we went on a service call, I think our pockets would all be
something. You'd be all right. Well, I think that's maybe a little bit of disconnect. People see something like that. They can understand someone's physically doing something, installing something, changing oil, whatever. Like there's a cost involved. I see that. They think us like, well, they just know something. Can you just you already know it. Can you just tell me real quick?
No.
And they don't see us on the phone with another agent at 9 p.m. working out issues that are actually their problems, but we're their agent, so we're fixing it for them. And then we don't even tell them about it because it's like, I'm not even going to put that in front of you. I got it fixed.
I already fixed it. Yeah.
They don't know. They have no idea. There's so much behind the scenes stuff that they don't see, which is totally fine. But that's our entire job. And then you don't know about all that crap until you're trying to do it yourself. And you're like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into?
Yeah.
When if you were paying for a service, that is part of that service. That is our job, to put out the dumpster fires, because inevitably obstacles come up sometimes.
Every single deal.
Every single
deal.
Yep. So going back to that, I think putting us on a high pedestal, and I'm not trying to do that, but like as far as like doctors and attorneys and things like
We're
that.
professionals.
They're not necessarily fixing something. They can't see you doing something, but something's happening. You're paying for that knowledge. You can't walk into an attorney's office and have them give you something for free. Yeah, you're paying for their knowledge and their expertise. Same thing with a doctor or whatever. So
and you are paying for being on the phone with them and whatnot.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
The second
absolutely.
you hop on a
we
phone
should do
call,
that. Just start a timer.
Yeah.
15-minute increments for
gosh.
billing you.
That would make me sick to know how much I could have billed if I was.
We could
an attorney.
retire. We'll retire next Thursday. That's all I have. I got real fired up about that phone call last night because I was very in their face about this is what we do and we'd be happy to help you, but we're not going to do it for free.
Right.
And I was very kind and honest about it. I was like, you know what? I asked the qualifying questions, and every single qualifying question was no. I'm like, okay, then no to you, and have a good day.
Yeah, have a good day. That's where I guess, I mean, just to be clear, I think we'll be very helpful with people as much as we can.
Of
but
course,
when you start getting
we
to the
bend
point
over
where
backwards for people.
They start wanting advice and specifics and who to call and numbers and it's like, okay, that's now we're into. Now I'm liable too. I start telling you numbers, giving you advice and things like that.
Correct.
I'm now liable for something that I'm not getting compensated for. My
Yes.
insurance probably isn't going to cover it then too because you're not my client. So
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I just need some advice. I just need a little help, Kari.
And
Right.
meanwhile, in the same conversation, every single one of us will bend over backwards for our clients, up to and including we've painted floors, we've done gutters, we've moved
Crawled
people,
in basements
crawled in
and crawl
spaces.
spaces.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gone. Never mind. I
yards.
won't get into that. But
Yes. Done it all. All right. Let's keep rolling here. Shub, what are we doing with, was it FHFA?
Yep. So I know we originally talked several episodes ago about FICO increasing their prices to almost up over $300 per a credit report. So when you go
to back up real quick, so if somebody doesn't know then, so if you're getting a loan or doing whatever.
Yeah,
then
the lender would need to pull a credit report to be able to determine, your eligibility for the loan. Obviously, that would affect your interest rate, those sorts of things then as well. So finally now, after 30 years of FICO having the sole ability to do so, the FHFA is now accepting Vantage Score 4.0 for conventional mortgage lending. And they have already closed over $10 million in loans being sold to Fannie and Freddie. So this is huge. There's been reports that the FICO CEO has already been calling and offering to do reports for as low as 99 cents.
No.
So it goes from like $300 or $400 to
$300 or $400
a buck.
it should have never been.
$1.
You should have never been charged for that, in my opinion.
Yep.
Like, you can go on and get 3 for free per year, right? That's what we're talking about.
Well,
or is that something different?
The actually credit pull that they would do to get a mortgage.
Oh,
So
right.
anyone buying or selling a home, you have to go through that, and that cost has to be
the lender.
either the lender's eating it or they're passing. Most of the time they're passing it on to
the consumer.
To the consumer, so the consumer's paying that $300 or $400.
Yeah.
So.
Which, but again, it's still
But it's our
just so
score.
crazy.
It's so dumb.
Yeah, Equifax cuts Vantage Score 4.0 mortgage credit scores to $4.50. I just pulled this up. I don't know how accurate this is or anything, but yeah, it's a huge difference.
I mean, I understand paying for, like, back in the day when you had to print something off and it was, 40 pages long, and then you had to FedEx it and
that'll
things.
be the next big lawsuit. Will be all the consumers who had to pay $300 for a credit report.
Yeah, have
Going
that,
back to
that
saying,
Stitzler guy, that
it's
attorney.
a monopoly.
But to be fair, like back in our day when you did have those costs, there was a cost associated with producing it, both having the human factor there and compiling all the information, because now the do data scrape thing, but before you had to compile all that information, put it into a giant packet. Somebody like an admin had to put it into a manila envelope and fax or mail or all that, and there was money associated with
Yeah, but
preparing
you're
that.
telling me
Now it's all just
$400
digital.
in this
Now-
digital age.
Yeah.
But now you can hit a button and it's like,
Yeah.
there it is.
Yeah, that's
So.
insane.
So they probably just had a hammer lock on it, just kept increasing because it never was that expensive.
No.
I mean, it was like $100
I think
for
like
a
we had
long
talked
time.
about a couple of years. I mean, even a couple of years ago, it was like $100 or $50 or
Which
something
is even
like that.
high.
So,
Like that's
yeah,
should be like
from
$20.
That to now what that Inman article said $4.50. I mean, that's
more like
crazy.
it.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Like, I'm glad.
I feel like $20
but
is
it's
a rip
also-
off. Like $19.99 for
as someone
a car.
that just bought their house 8
Yeah.
months ago,
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's nice.
But that's something too, just not to go on a government rant, but government inefficiency. It was just, that was the policy forever. That was the rule. There's has to be a million other Vantage Score 4.0, whatever that is. I don't even know that company. I'm sure there's 10 other companies that would have gladly done it for $50 or $100
Yeah.
or $1.50 or whatever. But the government just said, nope, that's the rules. That's a law. So
Sheesh.
whoever.
So my topic, again, relatively quick, but wanted to update everybody. And obviously that's pretty big news in the lending side, especially for home buyers. So,
so that should
Good
help.
deal.
Yeah. I mean, that would cut hundreds of dollars off the cost of buying a house
amazing.
then. So, yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good deal all around. I guess it's me here. Let me see. Yeah, let's get to this presentation here, huh?
You need like a pointer. I wish I had a little pointer finger.
Yeah, I just need a bell for when I get talking too much, and you just have to push like the
push that thing
or ring the bell.
Next.
So kind of what I want to get into is just we get this all the time of what should I wait? Like let's talk about it here real quick then. So how many times have you guys heard I'm just going to wait for interest rates? I'm just going to wait for the market to crash. I'm going to wait for all the things, right? I mean, we've all heard that. So what does it look like versus waiting versus going? And no, we don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what the rates are going to do. I don't know what the price of homes are going to be. But we'll talk to or pull up, like I guess what the quote unquote experts would say. I'll start here. This isn't even part of this is a bonus page, Brian. So it's not even part of the PowerPoint. So Fannie Mae, this was a panelist of like 100, big head economists put together, but Fannie Mae put this together of projections of house pricings from basically last quarter through 2029. So the most conservative was home prices will go up 6.7%. Median was like kind of the consensus was 17.6%. And we've all seen this chart before, I think. And the most aggressive or most optimistic was 27.5%. In the next 4 to 5 years, home prices will probably go up. So I'm going to sit around and wait for the housing crash. I'm going to wait for rates to come down. I'm going to wait for whatever. So how long have we been hearing what that looks like? NAR's chief economist just came out and said, again, rates aren't going to 3% again. It's just not in the cards. So I'll just pop over to this if I can find my... Nope, wrong one. There we go. There, the full-on PowerPoint here then. So... if you look at rates, I was going to pull that up too. So today's rates, I think that's accurate. So bank rate had it at 6.32. Housing Wire had it at 6.39. So we're pretty close to that. So today's rate's 6.3. So a year ago, they were 6.83. So they have gone down. So, I mean, that's like 0.5% in the last year. Yeah. But we were being told what? It was going to be mid-5s, high 4s at this point. No, we're still at 6.3.
A whole year.
So everybody wants this again. Who doesn't? I want that COVID interest rate of 2.65. We hear that how many times then too? Oh, I've got a 2.99. I'm not going anywhere. Well, I probably wouldn't either if you didn't have to, unless life's changing. But again, just to keep things in perspective, 7.7, so going back to the 1970s, 50-year running time here, you look at the average price of a loan is 7.7%. So we're still, 1.5% below that at this point at the 6.3. Now, advocating for the 6.3, I think that rate sucks too because, again, I'd rather it be much lower than what it is. But it is what it is. I mean, that's where we're at. So if you have that, so again, rates, I don't have a crystal ball. None of us know for sure. That Stephen Yoon, NAR, had said they're not going back there either. I guess I can't definitively say they're not going back to 3% because
that's what the PowerPoint says.
Yeah, the PowerPoint does say that, but I don't know that that's right. So when we put this together, I'm probably not going back to 3% anytime soon. Again, we have a new Fed chief coming in. He's supposed to be really bullish and cutting rates and things like that then too. These economists are saying that's already baked in. They're already expecting this guy to start cutting rates. So if he comes in and starts raising rates, then everything's going nuclear. We're all going to die. It's nothing's good's going to come out of that. So they're saying the rate cuts are already basically baked into the price. So again, more forecasts. Fannie Mae, end of 26, they're considering to be 5.9, which we're 0.4% to where we're at now. 27, not much lower. Mortgage Bankers Association, again, not a whole lot different. I mean, even into next year, not much different than where we are right here today. Wells Fargo, National Association of Realtors is probably one of the more aggressive ones, thinking 6 to 5.8. So there's your rates. Prices have slowed going up. For year over year, just in August, they've only gone up 1.5%, but they're still going up. So here's the other side. Rates haven't moved. Prices are still going up. They're not going up 20% anymore. They're going up 1.5% year over year for a quarter, almost 3%. Home builders have started offering a lot more incentives. They've been cutting prices, which is kind of unusual. They want to keep their prices the same. So the inventory is maybe slowing down some on those new homes. So I'll try to, there's a lot of numbers, and I'm sorry, I've tried to make it to where it's easy to digest. So hypothetical scenario, you got a buyer buying a $250,000 house, which in our market, pretty nice house. I mean, you can get a nice house for $250,000. If you're in, what was that one, Miami Beach, you're probably getting, Jeff Bezos,
shack.
maybe, a couple bricks out of his driveway for that. I don't know. So Scenario is $250,000 purchase price, 20% down, which not everybody does it, at a rate of 6.3%. So you need a down payment of $50,000 for your $250,000 purchase price. Your loan amount is there, locked in for 30 years. We're going to go from that assumption. So if we go back to this chart, wherever it went here, over here. So this is at 6.7. So this is the least amount they think that pricing is going to go up. So if we keep that 6.3% and keep it at that, that growth rate of 6.7%, if you waited for 4 years and it goes up 6.7%, that $250,000 house is now going to cost you $266,000, almost $267,000, which means you're going to need to bring an additional $3,300 to closing. Over the life of the loan is going to cost you almost another $30,000. So interest rates right now today would have to be 5.85%. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for price, the rates to come down. It needs to be from 6.3 to 5.85 for that number to make sense to wait that 3 to 4 years. Then it gets worse. We go to that mid-range one. So if it goes up 17% in the next 4 years, that $250,000 house now costs you $294,000. Your payment's gone up $218 a month. You need another almost $9,000 to close on it. And again, your previous one, it was almost $30,000 more of the lifetime. Now you're at almost $80,000 more. Interest rates today would need to be 4.83. So don't take this to the bank as far as exactly to the rate. You know what I mean? It's not.
Sure. I need a copy of this PowerPoint.
Yeah, I know. I'm not signing my life to it, like I say, but the numbers are pretty good here then. So rates would need to be that. They're not. They're 6.3. So we'll go to this most bullish thing, 27.4, and I put it in red because warning, it gets bad. Mm-hmm. That house, that $250,000 house, is now $318,000. You need another almost $14,000 to close. Over the course of 30 years, you're paying almost another $125,000, pretty close to that. Mm-hmm. Rates today would need to be 4.1% to buy that same home, which it's not.
Totally. It's not going to, yeah.
So
I don't foresee that happening.
Again, there's a nice little side-by-side comparison. So what it would look like, how much more it's going to cost you, what you need rates to be. So, yeah, there's no version of any of this math where waiting wins.
Right.
What does that do if the whole Iran thing blows up even more, or rates start, getting dropped?
And
I mean, nobody knows.
I know. You can speculate all day long. I mean...
So then the flip side of that then too, okay, I'm renting now, I'm fine, I'll just continue to rent. Well, the math ain't working for you then too, so we'll get into what that looks like for, and again, nobody's saying 4.1%. This is what that's going to look like. So that's what you need rates to be then. So if you're waiting, you're renting currently versus buying. So again, this data goes back it's the most recent data they had on this. So if I'm a typical American in 2022, if I own a home versus renting a home, my net worth is on average $396,000. So you take just being a homeowner, take everything you have, sell it, you should have almost $400,000 in net worth. If I'm a renter, you sell everything you have. Again, you don't own the home. Your net worth is $10,400. So since 2022, I don't know that it's gotten a whole lot better. It's probably gotten even worse, I would guess. But yeah, it's a 38-to-1 ratio of renting versus owning, what you actually would end up with. So that's where I get to where if you go back to these numbers, it doesn't pay to wait. And being a homeowner now, your net worth is exponentially better. We were just talking about Dave Ramsey earlier, and there's so many other economists that say things like that, homeowners, you're almost forced to save money then at that point. Like you're paying the money if you're renting, or if you own the home, you're still paying the mortgage, you're still paying the taxes. Only if you own the place, it's going to you versus going to whoever owns the place. So, so I don't know what to do with this other than to, put this in front of people to say, look, this is the math is pretty good. It really is. If the prices still continue to go up and rates don't drastically change. But even then, if you bought the house today and rates do change, you still can refi. You can still do a lot of different things.
There's something true to be said about it. Everybody's like, oh, anytime you talk to a realtor, today's a good day to buy.
Right.
For that point. Because if we continue, even if it's 1.5, 1.7%, you're gaining momentum regardless of what you purchase. As long as you're not buying don't overpay for a house. Yeah. Work with an agent.
Yeah, right.
But, get the best bang for your buck. Put a little bit into the house. Continue to make your mortgage, make a little bit of extra payment if you can, and you're going to come out ahead, period.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, versus staying to rent then.
Yeah, you can't argue with that.
So this was more of a mental exercise for me. It really kind of brought it home because people just keep asking, what should I do? Should I wait? Should I whatever? And I'm just like, if it's the right time to buy, if it makes sense to you and your family, yes, do it.
Yeah.
If you're upsizing, downsizing, getting married, getting divorced, having a kid, probably time to buy a house, upsize, do whatever you need to do. But
we can't predict the whole war thing.
The world,
there's absolutely no way to predict what's happening, what's coming, and what could be.
Yes.
Like that's like saying I probably shouldn't get in my car today and drive to go get groceries because of what could be.
Sure.
It just
you
have to do what makes sense for you in that moment.
And you're buying a home, which is typically an appreciating asset. They usually don't go down. It's not like you're going buying a $100,000 truck, which is going to lose value. This is probably going to gain value, just like it has over the course of. Here, I have another chart for you, Brian. Not to mention, you don't have see this? Here, you ready?
A tenant upstairs stomping around, or a crying baby, or a barking dog. Like you have your own house.
So if you're back here, okay, I've been waiting for how long now? Because this wasn't even that long ago. This was back in 2016, 18. Back in through here. Should I wait? Well, the prices just keep going up. So if you look over the last 50 years, what home prices have done. So what you're telling me now? They're just going to bam down here? No, I mean it might go down there.
It might go some, but it's not. You're not going to lose.
It's going to continue to go up.
Right.
I mean, we have inflation kind of baked into our economy. So does it make sense? I don't know if it makes sense to you. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not in your finances. Not yours, but whoever's. So does it make sense? I don't know. But as best I can see, I just thought this brought it home to kind of really look at what it's going to look at for price going up, rates maybe not changing a whole lot. To me, it makes sense to buy. I don't know why you wouldn't then.
Population, houses available. I mean,
and I think too, this all being said, that it might make more sense to buy than rent, and then a lot of people are going to run into, okay, how am I going to have a down payment? How am I going to have this, that, or the other? If you again work with a realtor, then they're going to get you in contact with great lenders that can help you find a grant program, a different loan type that works perfect for you, whatever that looks like, to be able to make it work. Like more times than not, there is some kind of grant or something like that you will
don't even know about,
that you've never even heard of. We might not have even heard of it.
That's right.
You qualify for it, and then that is less that you have to bring to the closing table, and you can honestly get through it pretty easily if you have the right people on your side to be able to set you up. If you're very realistic about, this is what I have, this is what I want to spend, can you help me fix that? Can you help me equalize that? Whatever. And a lot of times it can be done. You just have to know who to talk to and be realistic about your expectations.
And maybe if you have $238 in the bank, that might not be a good time to buy.
Probably not.
But also, they try. You can get in contact with people to get you in the right headspace to figure out what that looks like.
A 6 month or 1 year plan.
A plan to be able to do that.
We've seen it happen. We've had clients that have done it.
So so it's not to make light of it. It is hard to buy. It's always been hard, I think, to buy a home. I don't think it's ever been an easy time in America to just, it's an easy to buy a house. Well, 2008 and 2006, 7, it was very easy to buy a home. You shouldn't have been doing that then. But beyond that, you still have to save a down payment. How do you do that when rent's so high? I'm not trying to act like I have the answers to any of that. I'm just saying the math to actually buy something now versus waiting.
And if it's something that you want to do, if you have your mindset towards it and you can find the right people to talk to, you'll be able to make it work. Like, it will happen. It's just is a matter of getting all the ducks in a row and figuring out.
It takes time.
It's timing.
Most people, they suddenly wake up, I want to buy a house. I should be able to buy a house tomorrow in the place I want to buy. Well, just because you live in New York doesn't mean you should be able to buy a $5 million studio apartment there.
Right.
Like, maybe you need to move to Northwest Ohio and buy a nice house for $175,000. But, no one's saying you have to live where you're at necessarily, but the pricing. And I don't know what we do, too, we've talked this to death. What do you do when rates do drop? So is it a good time to buy? Sure, I would say, but like when rates drop again, when we've talked about this 100 times, how many more buyers are coming online? How many more properties are coming up? And back to that feeding frenzy. So just buy it now. Just buy a house now.
Just do what makes sense.
What's the whole cliche thing? Well, the best time to buy a house was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. So.
And I will say that it's been 5 years since we've seen those interest rates, and people had waited a year, 2 years, 3 years. They're just done. I think buyers that are on the sidelines that have been waiting, 5 years is a very long time, and a lot of life happens in 5 years. So I think we're starting to see those buyers and sellers now that are just tired of waiting, and they're willing to pay that difference just to understand that that's what they have to do to move forward on whatever their next life thing is.
Yeah. So. And those prices have, again, just to beat a dead horse, those prices have not come down. They're not going up 15% a year in our market right now necessarily, but they're not going down 15% either. Correct. They're still trending up. Yeah. So, all right. Well, there's my PowerPoint presentation for the day here, folks. So my next TED Talk will be, I don't know
Gold
when.
Star.
So, yeah.
Gold star on your PowerPoint, Bill.
I had many more slides, Brian. I'll just have you know. We could have gone through a whole lot more, but we'll save that for next time. So, all right, that is episode, what are we at? 83. Getting close to 84. We will see y'all next time.